Hi, I'm Randy Wooden, and welcome to another in our Edge Library series, this time talking to mid-career folks and dealing with the weakness question. It's one of those questions you know you're going to get, and okay, I'm going to get it right this time. Well, here's some guidelines for you. And again, this is based on my experience and dealing with hiring officials and candidates and what works and what doesn't. 9 times out of 10, it seems like most people will come back with, well, a weakness of mine is I'm a perfectionist, but that really shouldn't matter because that means I'm doing a better job. All that, forget that. Don't go down that. It's a tired cliche. Don't use it. So what do I do? Well, the easiest thing I can tell you is look at your resume. Look at your education. Look at your industry background. Look at your job titles, that sort of thing. And also your appearance. I know appearance shouldn't matter in a job, but people look at you and they make decisions about, well, your education, your character, and all kinds of things based on the way you speak, the way you act, the way you dress, the way you look, and all that sort of stuff. So understand that anything is in play that they can see. Never, never, never divulge something that they can't talk about or that they can't see. I don't want to get into that. I need to get along better with management. I mean, you might as well just not a good idea. So here's a way to approach this. Let's say, for instance, the job asks for, let's say, master's degree preferred, and you have a bachelor's degree but not a master's. So on paper, you can do the job, you fit the minimal requirements, and you're in front of the employer. So obviously you've made it that far. Nobody is perfect. Nobody has the perfect education, the perfect experience, because if they did, they couldn't afford them. So understand that the company is drawing a picture of their ideal candidate. If you lack something, whether it's industry experience, whether it's specific job title experience, maybe you lack the master's degree, come out and say, well, some people might say that the fact that I lack a master's degree could be a weakness, or might be a weakness. Well, I can't change that today, although I do plan to go back to get a master's degree. But what I can tell you is, boom, 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 and now you're talking about your positives. I actually don't like the word weakness. If I'm an employer, I'm going to ask you to identify an area where you have seen that there's a need to improve, and tell me about the steps you've taken to work on that. I much prefer to see somebody who can recognize an issue and then take steps to remedy it. And it may never be 100% put to rest, but you acknowledge it and tell me what you did to address it. One of the best things I can talk about, and I'm an example of it, and I think many of us can relate, is time management skills and going from high school into college and on into the workforce. And one of the challenges we always ran into in college that first semester or two was trying to budget our time and manage our time effectively. And so we would seek out mentors, we'd seek out people who could give us guidance so that we could better structure our time. And while it's something that I don't recognize so much as a weakness today, it is something that I have identified that I needed to work on, and I have. And whether it's through continuing to take notes and be very structured, doesn't mean that I can't be flexible, but what it does do is help me prioritize effectively so that I can get my work done and that won't be a concern for you. That's one way to handle the weakness question. And again, I always like to go back to the phrase, some people might say that and then throw something out there that's obvious that they can see and then move that aside and say, and while I can't change that today, here's what I can offer. Here's what I can do. So hopefully that helps you out a little bit with the weakness question. Just don't come out and say, I don't have any weaknesses. If you do, you really have to word it effectively. Let me just give you real quick guidance on that. If you know how to do this job like the back of your hand, you've had 15 to 20 years of experience doing this very sort of job, then what you need to say is no one's perfect, including me, but I do have nearly 20 years experience doing this very sort of work. And so as it relates to the position, I'm not sure that I would have a weakness. But again, nobody's perfect, and I'm sure there are going to be some things that I'd need to pay attention to coming on board. I don't mean to imply that I wouldn't have anything, but I just do feel very, very confident that I can get the job done and hit the ground running. I don't really like that answer, but if you want to go that direction, That's maybe a way to word that. And that's going to wrap it up for this, dealing with the mid-career folks and handling the weakness question. I'm Randy Wooden. Thanks for watching.